Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
It's the Thursday before the long weekend. Woo! We love our jobs. We love our jobs. Yes. I always think of the bit
another 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then it's going to be the longest afternoon of the year.
Nadia loves her job. She loves helping you, everybody. Absolutely. So much.
Don't email me after 3 o'clock.
No, just don't expect anything. If you didn't think about it this week before 3 o'clock, then you can wait till Tuesday. It's absolutely fine. Although Tuesday next week does look quite busy, doesn't it? So maybe we will do it this week. It's fine. Mark, have you got...
You know, every time you say this, whether it's Christmas, Easter, it's really depressing because you lot are all going off on a jolly, having a great time, and you know this business that we're in, it stays open, and they all come to us. So you might be having a lovely, jolly weekend, whereas we are here servicing our customers.
Yeah, we know we're rubbing it in a bit. We know.
There is a bit of pain there.
There is pain, that's right. But I am also going to keep an eye on the inbox over the weekend, just in case there are any issues. I'm just saying because I would rather get them, have a heads up and not just come in on Tuesday at 9 o'clock and go, oh my goodness, what happened over the weekend? Yeah,
I have never had the whole of Easter off in all of my career. Never.
You know, we're looking for new HR people. So I'm just saying, if you want to apply, Mel, can come and have the weekends off.
I better get to college, I think. Brush up on some qualifications, I think.
We can do on-the-job training. On-the-job training.
You've done so much of this already, Mel. You know, I feel like you're at least 50% trained.
Yes. Perfect. We'll change your head. Brilliant. Thank you.
Exactly. Good. Excellent. Sorry, I'm just people turning up. I was, the classic last weekend before some of us have the weekend off. I was thinking, nobody will want to talk to us. Nobody will want to talk to us. No, that's not everyone to. Okay, so the one that came in this morning that I had to read twice to understand what the problem was. There was a problem, absolutely, but I didn't understand why I was being asked, is this a problem? And it is a problem. So a chef, again, golf club, so it's chefs and head greenkeepers. Chefs and head greenkeepers, almost nobody else is a problem. It's ridiculous. Anyway, the chef, a 17-year-old female had come to the general manager and said that the chef's been saying things to me. And the way he phrased it is, which could be construed as sexually harassing. Okay, when you say they could be, you know they actually are. There is no could. If it quacks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it is a duck. Would the chef be saying these things to a boy or / man, or even an older woman? Probably not. He's saying it to the 17-year-old female. So, and then the girl hasn't raised a formal complaint. Well, she kind of has, because she's mentioned it to you. She doesn't have to put it in writing for it to be formal. Sorry, 1 second. And the general manager hasn't gone further with her, but he's gone and had a quiet word with the chef. And the chef has said that, one, he didn't say any of the things, but he will apologize if he's offended her. Well, you say you didn't say it, so why are you apologizing?
First of all, this quiet word, stop it. Don't do it. I've had one this morning as well, where someone, a client that we deal with pretty much twice a week. They have a very big operation with several sites, and they were like, they also had an incident with a chef, 2 chefs who were shouting at each other, and the one accused the other one of bullying, and she basically said, he shouts at me all the time, he swears at me all the time, he does this to all the staff, and just on this one occasion, I sort of swore back. And they did exactly the same thing. They went and had a little quiet chat with the head chef, who said, I think that's a little bit exaggerating. I might have once or twice. I will, I'd be happy to apologize. I understand that yesterday my behavior wasn't correct, but the staff this and that and whatnot. And so they're just going to have a quick chat with her and say that they've chatted to him. It's not the right approach. You do not deal with these things with quiet chats. Quiet chats get you in trouble because you don't have a record, you haven't done it properly, and you've not treated the complaint properly as a grievance if you have gone off and had little quiet chats. You're not going to get away with doing these things, especially for sexual harassment anymore. You need to be seen as an employer to follow a process. I always say this to our clients when they go, oh, but that's so much and that's so many steps and do I need to do all that? Yes, you do. The process is to protect you. The process is there to protect you so that you can say, look, we have a written down process and we followed our process. If you can't say that, you have already got a hole in your defense. So yes, please make sure that you, as soon as you get a complaint, that you deal with it correctly. And don't get me wrong, they aren't always grievances. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're small niggly things about the rota or the hours or my holiday application, whatever. And they can just be a conversation and you go and speak to the other party and you sort it out and it's fine. Another thing never to do not get them in a room to bang their heads together. It will explode. It will. It always does. Don't do it. Don't. If you are not a qualified mediator, do not do it. But yeah, if you've got small niggles that someone is bringing to you, sure, you can deal with that fairly informally. But as soon as you have sexual harassment, as soon as you have bullying, as soon as they're shouting and swearing and raising voices and that kind of thing, then you need to be dealing with it properly.
Yeah. And I'm sure one of the things I'm going to hear from the general manager, I have sent him a very strongly worded and highlighted in red. That's how strong I'm feeling. I don't usually highlight in red. Highlighted in red email is he's going to come back and say, as a defence, and I don't know why people, and I'm going to say it's not just men defending men, it is also women defending men, saying, oh, but he didn't realise what he was saying. He's a grown man. Are you saying he genuinely doesn't know what's coming out of his mouth? Oh, well, he doesn't think about it. He just says it. Everybody who is an adult at work has to think about what comes out of their mouths. I'm sure the general manager has to always think about what's coming out of their mouths. They can't just go around saying stuff and then go, oh, my bad, I just say it as it is. You have to think about it. And does the chef say these things when he goes out for a meal in, I don't know, the Ivy or Nando's? Does he say that to the female serving staff? I would hope not. I'm going to say, having said that out loud, possibly he does. But if he did say it in Nando's, he would probably be kicked out because they say, no, that's totally unacceptable. Out you go. You have to remember that from October 24, you have to show you have taken reasonable steps to prevent sexual harassment. From the 6th of April, from Monday, people have protection under whistleblowing for raising sexual harassment and then suffering a detriment. So if they say sexual harassment happened, is happening, or could happen, and they get fired or they get demoted, they can start a claim against you and claim protection under whistleblowing, which means you would have to pay their salary up until the court makes a judgment. So if that takes 2 years, which is what it is at the moment, you would be paying them their full annual salary for 2 years while they don't have to work it. They just get paid that money. You never get that money back. Okay. And then if you lose, you would have a 25% uplift. Then we also have October this year. I'm going to say, I know it feels like it's 6 months away. It will be on us before you know it, that you have to have taken all reasonable steps to prevent sexual harassment. And that means not doing stupid, quiet words. That is not how you prevent sexual harassment. That is not going to go down well at the tribunal in any way, shape, or form. Just stop doing it, okay? And the other thing is, particularly for golf clubs, you are legally liable for the behaviour of your members. Now, this was a staff one. This is going to be hopefully easier to resolve because clubs are usually happy to fire staff. They're not happy to fire members. But you can be, from October, you can be legally sued for the behaviour of your customers and members. You can be sued. And saying, like when somebody did at a GCMA meeting recently, but we have no idea what they're going to do. We can't possibly be liable for them. You are also liable for your staff, and you put stuff in place to make sure that you know what they're doing. You train them, you discipline them, and ultimately you fire them if they do the wrong things. And that's exactly the same for members. The government is really serious about knocking this on the head, okay? And the thing about members and customers is for any of the protected characteristics, not just sexual harassment. It's also, well, we have there's racism in the golf clubs, but it's any of them. Any of the protected characteristics you can be sued for if you're customers or members. You have to start taking this seriously. And I appreciate I'm preaching to the choir here because you're the ones who are on this call. You know what you're supposed to be doing. But quiet words are not going to be doing it. Oh, I'm sorry, I offended her. It's like, well, don't do it then. Don't say stuff to 17-year-old females. Oh, and the other one I just had, sorry, we'll probably get off this eventually, is somebody who works in the F&B, male, he's sort of mid-20s. He raised at the talk I gave on Monday that there's a 75-year-old member in his club who, and he was sort of bringing it up as a sort of joke because he wasn't sure how serious it was, who only hugs the young females to say hello. And he doesn't hug the boys. And he's like, well, that's not right, is it? And I'm like, well, no, because it's sexual harassment. And it was interesting, in a room of F&B managers, food and beverage managers, the number of people who leapt to this unknown member's defense. They've never met him in their lives. They don't know him from Adam, to say, oh, well, he's just being friendly. He's just being lonely. It's like, no. If he was hugging everybody, that would still not be acceptable, but that would be more justifiable on he's just being friendly. If he is only hugging the young females with their pert breasts and pressing those up against his 75-year-old body, that is sexual harassment, and it needs to stop. And the number of people, you would have thought F&B managers would have been more up to defend their staff, but absolutely on the side of the member, that he doesn't realise, he's not thinking these thoughts. You have no idea what he's thinking. Nobody has any idea. We don't care what he's thinking. We have his actions. The actions are sexual harassment. Oh, well, we can ask people if they want to be hugged. No, you can't, because there's an imbalance of power between the employer and the members and the employees. So the employees are obviously going to say yes, because they're afraid they're going to lose their job if they say no. And if they said no to the member, he'd go, oh, I don't know why you're getting so sensitive. Oh, she's not very friendly, is it? And then they start making comments in their WhatsApp groups, and then suddenly this employee gets fired. They can't win. So it's just we do have a saying that we do have to go across the swamp every day, but we don't have to kill every alligator. And I've got back into killing every alligator. I will calm down. But there's it's so prevalent out there. I do not understand why it's not obvious, why people are willing to defend total strangers rather than going, yeah, that's icky. Yeah, we should stop that. Why should an old person of either gender be allowed to go around hugging whoever they want? Why should they do that? Anyway, so moving on. Are there any questions today? I think, Mark, yes, I saw you on there. Thank you.
Well, just following on from the email I went out this morning about sick pay or SSP for 0-hour staff, particularly.
Yeah.
So if your 0-hour staff is rotated for 4 hours and they ring in sick,
yeah,
what happens?
They get paid SSP. This is not new. This has been on the books for 6 months, Mark. I'm a bit... everybody is entitled to SSP at the rates that we put in the email from day one. Effectively with employment, there may well be some fine print that you could get out of it for the first week of employment, but after that, it's the certainly for the rotas they're scheduled for. Nadia, have you got something?
No, I just wanted to add, Mark, that I've actually had a few people who's suddenly gone, oh, do we need to pay 0 hour people sick pay? So I'm not sure if your question is, does this apply to 0 hour people as well? Or if the question is, do we pay 0 hour people sick pay? The answer is yes to both. But we have had a few people come back in the last couple of weeks because we've been talking to people about these changes to say, oh, but do we have to pay 0 hour people sick pay? And you do. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. It was just more clarification on just for rotated hours.
Well, yes, you would initially pay them for the hours that they were rotated. So let's say, for example, they call in sick and you've got 2 weeks rotas in advance. I know sometimes wishful thinking and hospitality, but let's say you've got 2 weeks of rotas in advance and they were rotated for 4 shifts. They're calling in sick and they're all of those shifts they're off sick. Then you're going to pay them for 4 shifts. But if they're sick longer term after you have those rotas, you would then need to calculate their average working hours for a week and pay them sick pay for that.
So you're not paying them the full rota, you're paying them 80% of what they would have earned if they were on doing the rotated shifts. Yeah.
Except if obviously their normal earnings would be
more
higher. Yeah. Than the 129 a week, which for 0 hour people it often isn't.
No. Is that helpful?
That's clarified. Thank you.
Okay. Murray, you've got a question?
Yes. So similar to that on SSP, we've got a hotel and we've got a number of cleaners, more than 10 that clean at the hotel. The hotel does a rota on the Thursday before each week of how many they need based on their advanced bookings. So and unfortunately, cleaners, the nature of the industry, they wake up with a headache, they can't come in because they call in sick. And then we have to find a cover person, so we're going to be double paying them. That's the first thing. Second thing is, what if I get from someone who isn't on rota this week, tells me that they are actually sick and therefore want to get paid an average pay of previous? How does that work? If they're not on rota and say that they're sick, they can't be on rota next week, for example. Or can we just leave them off rota?
I would say that you probably are looking at their average earnings. I mean, we can go and check on that again, but that's the thing. That's why those average earnings over 12 weeks, over 52 weeks, to say, okay, are they over the 129? No, they're not. Okay, well, then we're only paying them 80% of what they would have earned. And they have to follow the sickness absence procedure, the self-certification and then the fit notes. You can change it that they have to have fit notes from day one. You could do that, but you would have to pay for them from day one. That is the downside of that. And there is a charge for that. But generally, everybody is entitled to sick pay from day one of absence and day one of employment.
Okay.
Harry,
but then,
in your specific example, and we can go and check this, but if, let's say, for example, she calls in tomorrow, sick for next week, but she's already received the rota and she wasn't on the rota anyway for the week, I think you'd probably get away with not paying her anything for that week, saying, okay, as in there's nothing to process, basically. But then after that, you'll then have to start. So just in your specific example, as I'm thinking it through, if she's not necessarily calling in for a shift, she's just informing you that she's unavailable for work because she's off sick, then you could get away with that week that you have a rota for that she wasn't on. You can get away with not paying her. But after that, you will need to start paying her if she continues to be off sick.
Yeah, I think my concern is the nature of people in cleaning are going to take advantage of this hugely.
You know what, Murray, we have several clients who have different models of businesses that are going to be hit really, really hard by this. There's another person on this call who I've had a conversation with today about this, that, this situation, the nature of these businesses are that you maybe have people who work 1 or 2 days a week. And now and before they called in sick, it was inconvenient, but it didn't cost you money, or it didn't cost you too much money in terms of sorting it out. Whereas now you've got to pay the money you needed to pay to sort it out in terms of cover, and you have to pay the employee. And that is a real impact on your business. And this is why you're going to need to start managing absence correctly from the first absence. Return to work interviews, insist on they follow the correct absence reporting procedure. If they don't, deal with it. Get self-certifications, all of it. If they've been absent 3 or 4 times, start talking to them in absence meetings and things. Make it hard for them. Make it a pain for them to be absent. They have to call you. They have to talk to you. They have to fill in a form. They have to come back and have a meeting. They have to follow correct process. Otherwise,
they cannot withhold pay if they don't follow correct.
Yes, well, it's not withholding paper such as that if they haven't followed the process, that is unauthorized absence. So just tweaking the language. So it's unpaid because it's unauthorized because they haven't followed the process. And that particularly, like Nadia said, that they actually ring you or ring whoever they need to ring. It has to be a phone call. It does not work if it's a text message or a WhatsApp message or any type of message. We're not doing that. That does not qualify you for authorized sickness absence. And that will be a thing that you could do to try and minimize, certainly at the beginning, how much you're paying out, because a lot of people will not be willing to obviously get on the phone and lie convincingly. It is a life skill to be able to lie convincingly and sound ill. I'm really ill. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I do want to add to that. That is it's probably the most important thing about dealing with this, because I know a lot of employers can be quite lenient with these things in terms of when and how an employee calls in sick. If you have not been enforcing the rule about employees calling in sick in a specific way, as it is stated in your handbook, go read it, look exactly what it says. If you've not been enforcing it exactly like that, you've got 1 or 2 options now. Either the first time they don't follow it, you have a conversation, you point it out, you explain what you expect going forward, and you give them an advisory note that says you had this conversation, and then the next time they do it, you have them for unauthorized absence, for not following the correct absence reporting procedure. Or you issue something now that highlights to all staff that this is the absence reporting procedure as stated in the handbook, and from this moment onwards, you expect all absences to be reported in this way, so that you can deal with it if it's not. What you cannot do is do neither of these 2 things if you've not enforced it before, and then when someone doesn't do it, go, oh, unauthorized absence, and then process them as dismiss them for that, when they've not had to do it correctly before, and so they thought that was okay.
Sure. Now that is great, but on the practicality of it, it's myself and Kevin who are the management, and we have 60 cleaners reporting to us. So if they phone in the morning, 10% of them sick, and we don't happen to be able to get our phone, is leaving a message on our voicemail significant?
Well, is it significant for you? It's your decision.
Yeah.
It's not our decision. It's your decision.
It's still they're still following protocol then, as long as they leave a voicemail.
If that is your protocol and you're happy with that, that's fine. I would add in, I can't remember offhand, sorry, Murray, what you've got as your process, but I would definitely say, yes, okay, you can leave a voicemail. That is acceptable, but you will be expected to take our call when we call you back, because I definitely think you need to have that live conversation at some point. And if they don't, that is then a problem. Until they've had that live conversation with you, it's still unauthorized, unpaid. Yeah. So yeah, you can absolutely let me know as soon as possible. And I think we've got an hour before your scheduled time. Leave a voicemail if you can't get through to me, but you will have to do that. And we can look at what you've got, Murray, and we can get you something today for you to send out. So saying with immediate effect, this is the process going forward. End of. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That'll be great.
Yeah. Okay, Lorraine, have you got anything?
Hi, just a quick one. I just need a reminder with if I have a greenkeeper who's working full time and he has 28 days holiday, if he works overtime, will he be accruing more holiday? No. Fabulous. Thank you. Just wanted to double check I'm on the right page.
No, they do keep trying to do that. It's like, I get an extra 5 days. No, that's the maximum.
Thank you. I know I've checked before, but I just wanted to double check. Thank you.
Yeah. Lovely. Good. Well, I think that's us for today. Lots of questions. There's going to be more things. Oh, sorry, Mel.
Sorry. Going back to that email that got sent out yesterday.
My very entertaining email, obviously.
Yes, your very entertaining email. One of the last lines referenced you are not allowed to do holidays on spreadsheets. Now, I'm in the process, as you know, trying to get everything over. Yes. To potentially timekeeper or whatever we're going to do. Yes. However, this year's holiday is currently paper and spreadsheet. Yes, so you were very, very direct on that. Do not use a spreadsheet.
Because it wasn't really direct to you, Mel. Surprise, surprise. Because I know you're transitioning, but there are some who were so diehard, and they're like, no, I've got it all down. Particularly people who've been in the office forever, and they're like, right, I've got it in my little book here, and so that's it. It's like, no, it shouldn't be, and they don't want to change. And I was trying to make the point of, it's got to, you've got to change. It's 2026. We shouldn't be doing it on paper and spreadsheets. And spreadsheets is open to abuse as well, unfortunately, as we've seen in several clients. So it's like, actually, if it's an automated system, it's much less easy. Yeah, that was it. Sorry, it's not. You can't legally, but
I was going to send it on to my heads of department, but I thought I also don't want to take out stuff from your email and then it kind of come back and bite me. So I just thought I don't want to send it out saying I'll just get them all going. See, we shouldn't be on the spreadsheet.
Oh, okay. So delete that sentence, but the rest of it is fine. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good. Well, have a lovely Easter weekend. Those of you who are having an Easter weekend, and I hope the other ones who aren't having an Easter weekend actually still get to eat chocolate. And we'll see you all back again next Thursday. Have a lovely time. Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you want a free peace of mind call with us to discuss your policies, handbook, and any burning staff issues in your business, click the link in the description below.